Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like to. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Folks, let me assuage your feelings now. Let me tell you that I am never serious. All right? Can you take that to heart? Do you know this is a comedy show? I know sometimes it might be hard to tell that when I'm talking because I'm not funny, or you might not find what I'm saying humorous. But folks, this is a show. Like, I amp it up for a show, and when I say things, it's for the benefit of the people listening to the show. So there's funny and humor, and I exaggerate things sometimes. Does that make any sense to you? Maybe. Because it certainly didn't make any sense to you last week, folks, as I was deluged by people either apologizing for going to dinner with me in the past, or writing me to tell me that they that any plans that I had in the future with them, they wanted to apologize for even thinking of them or asking me. Dudes, I thought I made it fairly clear that look, I'm a misfit and all of that stuff, and I'm far too accessible, certainly, but I don't mind. If it works out, I'm happy to do it. That's the bottom line. If it works out, I'm happy to do it. Rachel, who I went to dinner with Lily last week, she wrote on my Facebook wall, she's like, whatever. Aaron just made me listen to the show, and so I guess my birthday's out. Ha ha ha. And then I wrote to her on the wall, I said, the fact that someone made you listen to the show pretty much killed the birthday thing. And I think she wrote something like, whatever, jerk. Although, no, she did not. She's very nice and pleasant. And she and I gazed longingly into one another's eyes as we shared lobster ravioli. But there's a dude who's coming to town, and he wanted to take me for sushi in February. And then he wrote me, and he's like, hey, look, it turns out my trip's been postponed by a week. But after hearing this week, I'm not sure if that's, if you still want to do this or if you don't want to do that. I'm like, holy fuck. Oh my God. Look, if you're feeding me, I'm in. All right. If it's close, I'm in. If I can, that's all I'll tell you. If I can make it, I'll make it. I wasn't saying, look, dude, you're coming to town to take me to, well, not to take me to, that seems ridiculous. You're flying to town to take me to sushi. That doesn't make any sense at all because you're here for a week. So, I mean, are you taking me every night for sushi? But what, are you coming for a week and then prepping for 6 days to take me on the 7th day for sushi? I have no idea how you run your life. But it's so funny how people just, I'm a junkyard dog. That's what I am. And I'm just pacing at the fence and everybody's like sitting there staring at me, waiting for me to bark and go crazy. And the internet is the fence. Literally, the internet is the thing that separates us. And now they're all like, should I hop that fence? I don't know if I want to hop that fence now because the junkyard dog made it pretty clear that he does not want me to hop that fence anymore. Hop the fence. Pet me. I'm nice. Yeah, and it's really funny. The one person out of who took away from, the one person I was worried about is the one person who thought it was fucking hysterical. Thank God. Thank God. The guy who wrote me, who asked me to pick him up and drive him from the airport, because I didn't even get to write him after the show.
Oh no.
He found out on the show because I went home that night. I went home Wednesday night after we recorded, and I'm like, all right, I got to write that guy like immediately. I got to make sure he fucking knows what's coming because he's got there's a fist lurking for him on the internet, and it's gonna punch him right in both ears. I mean, it's gonna be fucking horrendous. But then again, I don't know when people listen. I mean, he could, it could be. That's the thing is, all of my shows, they're like time-release poison capsules. Like they got injected into Kurt Russell's neck in Escape from New York. Literally, they put him in there and they said, you got 24 hours. And in 24 hours, they dissolve to the core and then a little explosion pops open your arteries and you're going to fucking die. So that's what my show is. My show is constantly, it's like a time release and it's constantly eroding until you hear it and then it's going to fucking explode in your head and you're going to die, folks. That's it. Because eventually I'm going to get to you and you're going to get fucking waylaid. Because that's it. That's my listening base. I get to you one at a time. That's what I had to do to guarantee that I do from year 5 and beyond. I have to deal with one of you on every single show and talk about you for 15 to 20 minutes just to make sure you keep listening. I just want to make sure I have one listener who's ready. And actually, bullshit, that keeps all of you in suspense because you're like, is it my week? Holy shit, is it my week? Dude, I'm like the lottery. This is awesome. I'm like the Mega Millions podcast of lottering. Mega Millions lottering of podcasting? I don't know. I switched that around in my head. Folks, I've had 3 hours of sleep. But yeah, so like you never know. Yeah, your number could be up this week. That's pretty awesome. It's like, it's like, and you're, instead of getting stoned, you get fucking verbally ripped to shreds by me on my podcast. God, that's awesome. Everybody jump in. You know what? I actually like this plan. That keeps everybody like a captive audience. They're listening, and they put in their tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds, and they're just collectively gathered around their fucking. I was going to say podcast machine. Holy shit, folks! I have had no sleep. Podcast machine. What is that like? That was that Dr. Parnassus's unbelievable, spectacular, wonderful podcast machine. I'm sitting here in a wheelchair with a blanket over my polio-ridden legs in front of a fire, telling you people about sushi dinners with me. FDR never talked about sushi in his fireside chats. I guarantee it. Go back. I want a historian to go back and listen to all of his fireside chats. If he even once mentioned eating sushi, I will give you $1,000. That's right. It's out there. Like I said, I'm the lottery, folks. I'm the lottery of podcasting. You never know. All of you, like, let's put it this way. Everybody out there right now, in the Mike Schmidt lottery, 40-year-old boy of podcasting, all of you have the first 5 numbers. All of you. Every single one of you has the first 5 numbers, but you never know when the mega number is going to come up. Each one of you has a different mega number, and when that comes up, boom, look at what happens. I wind up talking about you wanting to pick you up at the airport, or wherever the fuck you were. So I didn't get to call him, man. I'm like, oh shit, I should have called that dude. And then I even thought about it. I'm like, I gotta call that guy. And all right, let me go ahead and pull the curtain back on this episode a little bit, folks. Remember I said that I have 3 hours of sleep? Yeah. It's Saturday. It is Saturday the 27th, I think. I get no fucking idea. 29th? 28th. It's the 28th of, well, nobody cares. I said it's Saturday. All right. I did a show Wednesday, the last show I just did, where I talked about all the things I've just talked about. And now here it is 2 days later, and I'm in Lily's house because, again, I might have mentioned to you last week that I wasn't sure if there was going to be a show this week. I said there'd be something. I don't know if there's going to be a clip show or what, and I still don't know. I mean, this is in progress. I told Lily, I said, turn the mic on. I'm going to talk and see what we get out of it. And if we don't get enough out of it, I've got a couple of clips on deck ready to go. Because clips actually seem like a pretty good idea to me at this point because I'm getting new listeners from the Mental Pod, from Mental Illness Happy Hour. I don't know if I'm the one shortening it to Mental Pod. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I have no idea. I haven't heard from Paul yet. Although I will tell you that we were in the AV Club mentioned us. So that was nice. So Paul wrote me to tell me that. And I immediately, he wrote me to tell me, he's like, hey, dude, by the way, we're in the best of the best on the AV Club. So I immediately skipped over there and read it for the 12th time. I'm not going to lie. I pretend like Paul let me know, and I was like, oh, yeah, really? No, bullshit. I only checked the email because I was tired of hitting refresh. But again, they did not mention the podcast at all. They didn't, the 40-year-old boy. They just mentioned me, and the words they had for me were, he shows, what was it? He's not full of self-pity. He shows logic about his failures, or something like that. Like, oh, good. It's good to know that I'm the British military officer of fucking mental illness podcasts. I can just jut my jaw and chew on my corncob pipe and look forward as the panzers are destroying my division. I'm the General Custer of fucking podcasts. I was able to just wander into the teeth of it and keep my head up. Although I guess he didn't. I saw Little Big Man, and apparently he was a coward, right? Wasn't Custer a coward? Fucking Custer's a coward. Yeah, that's right. He's the coward of the county. He did not know when to hold them. He certainly didn't know when to fold them. That's an entirely different song than Coward of the County. Who cares? I'm just going to do all of Kenny Rogers' thing. I almost called him Kenny Ridgers. Oh, lady. All right. Hi. So it's fucking Saturday, man. It is like, so I got nothing. I mean, I am fuming it. And I told, because again, Lily's going out of town to touch balloons, and that's fine, I guess. Now, are you learning that shit, or are you just like going to stand wistfully by and glare at Eddie as he twists things?
I am not only taking classes, but I'm involved in Eddie's live stage show that he's doing.
Oh, are you going to do that old chestnut where you have balloons on your breasts, and then he's eventually going to pop them, and everybody's going to go, yay? Because that would be a convention to go to. No. Okay. All right. So are you going to get sawn in half by a rusty balloon? Or I don't know how that works.
No. I'll tell you all about it afterwards.
Thank God. Well, I put those fingers away. All right. So now I'm here Saturday trying to accommodate my producer because she doesn't give a shit about you guys. She's like, I don't care how good the show is or how bad the show is. I've got to get out of town because I got latex to touch, baby. So here I am talking to you now, trying to make the best of a bad situation. So I did not get to write that guy. I failed in my writing. But he, however, he listens right away. I didn't know if he would or he would not, but apparently he listened right away because. And here's the funny thing: I opened up my email once I sat down at my desk in the last 31 hours since my last podcast, and it came up and I saw his name, and I went, "Oh, I forgot to write that guy." I knew immediately it was him. And I opened it, and he was like, dude, that was so hilarious. I am so happy that you brought it up. He goes, I guess I didn't really think about how ridiculous it was when I asked. Like but I genuinely want to come to the show. And then he was such a good sport about it that I was like, oh man, maybe I ought to pick that guy up. Like literally, which I think says a lot about me as a person and that I'm a decent guy. And I actually started to type an email where I was going to go, hey, man, if you want to come to the show. And then I would stop. What are you doing? Jesus Christ. You just spent an hour eviscerating this guy. You can't get his guts all over your car. You just told him no very publicly. And now you're quietly going to, hey, yeah, hold on a second, man. If you really want to come to the show, fuck that. Buy a car. Man, oh man. But sure enough, I'm a sap where I'm just like, oh. Because it's like I'm getting discovered by people from the Mental Illness Podcast. And that's why I say a clip show here this week might be a good idea to get people a little bit associated. It's like heroin, folks. Again, you throw a little taste of it out there, and then eventually people wind up paying. And sure enough, next thing you know, I'm in the schoolyard handing out envelopes of me. I don't know why people are meeting me in a schoolyard. I don't know. I had children. I don't know. There was a children metaphor there that I was looking for. I don't know. Again, folks, 3 hours of sleep. But yeah, so people are writing from me from they've just discovered me, thankfully, from the Mental Illness Happy Hour podcast, Mental Pod, whatever you want to call it, and they're like, hey, where can I get more of you? There's only like 5 episodes up, and it's there's a reason for that. I take them down because I sell them eventually, and so if you'd like them, you can buy them, I suppose. But then in my head when I read their emails, I always think, because again, I told you, I really think it's going the way where you're engaging your fan base and you're really kind of present in the moment with them at all times. You try to talk to them and engage them, find out what they want, and it turns out what they want is free shit. Which for some reason that doesn't lend itself to a successful business, from what I'm understanding. Not that I'm a successful business or a successful businessman by any stretch of the imagination. Because I was told by my tech guy, you've got to lose money. Your corporation has to lose money. Yeah. It seems like a success that I didn't lose money last year, but it's because it all came in like on the 30th of December. Like I was fine. Everything. Hey, I was a failure up until the 30th of December. And then all of a sudden, a couple of crazy kids from Florida who want me to go out to New York, and then also some people who want me to come to the East Coast. Well, that all happened right near the end of December, and Uncle Sam is going to be very thrilled to see me coming this year. Certainly, Throw Punch Media. He's not going to be thrilled to see Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt is a non-entity as far as they're concerned. I'm in the graveyard. I'm earning nothing at that point. I'm going to just mail my jumper cables in a big manila envelope. That's all I got for you as far as Graveyardville. But if you want to talk about podcasting, Mike Schmidt, I dress like the Monopoly guy, at least for a week. But unfortunately, the government's going to get my monocle, my hat, and my mustache. I don't even win second prize in a beauty contest. They took that $10. Fucking took that $10 right from me. And speaking of $10, by the way, folks, this is what it's come to for this show. You want free episodes from me? You want me to send you a bunch of free shit? I pay $10 a week to park to come and do this goddamn show from now on, because apparently every homeless person in the world has acquired a car and parks here on Lily Street. I have a permit. I even pay for the privilege of a permit. That's a lot of P's, folks. That's a lot of alliteration. And yet it doesn't matter. I go downstairs because I'm running late today. It's like 6 on Saturday night, and I still got to go to Graveyardville, and I've had 3 hours of sleep, and it's just it's a nightmare. But yeah, so I showed up here, and I got to go park in the lot. And so I park in Hollywood and Highland, which is of course I say it cost me $10, but I make that back in glamour, because the Oscars are there. Yeah. Not right now, but I mean, but it doesn't matter because I have a message right now for Asian tourists. Hey, Asian tourists, I've seen Tokyo on the internet. Go back. I mean, Tokyo looks fucking amazing. Why are you wandering around taking pictures of a Crumbs bakery? I don't. Holy shit. Look, literally, you see Asian tourists stop and they're like, look at those stairs. Well, you don't have stairs in Tokyo? And you know what, though? Actually, they probably don't. I've seen footage from Tokyo. Like, all they have in Tokyo, like, literally, businessmen ride to the upper floors on the backs of schoolgirls. That's what they do. Schoolgirls just, like, they implant themselves vaginally on a tentacle, and then the businessman hops on their back and rides to the top floors of the building. It's a rough place, Tokyo. But yet, so that's why I guess maybe it's quaint. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they don't think it's like amazing. They see the stairs and they're like, well, they don't understand what stairs are. Because in Tokyo, they all get around via tentacle-filled vagina. Well, not the vagina itself, but its carrying case. So they hop right on the vagina's carrying case and then they go right up to the top floors. That's how it works. But I'm just astonished that these tourists are wandering around. It's just like I said, a stone building with stairs. That's it, and they're taking pictures of it, and then they're taking pictures of like See's chocolates, which is there. I'm like, what? Dude, they don't have, maybe they don't have chocolate in Tokyo. Again, they have some sort of happy good time special biscuit that they flavor with. They gotta have chocolate from the future. To me, Tokyo is the land of the future. I don't know why they would come here but again, maybe it's an archaeological dig for them. They come here and they're just so astonished. They're like, oh my God, you still use cars? How quaint. I don't know why the people from Tokyo speak like they're from England in my fantasies. How quaint. And by the way, is that a fantasy? Really? Is this a fantasy? Them walking around looking at stairs? I need to expand my fantasies. Oh my God. I can't believe I buttonholed myself into that. How quaint. And what, like they don't use the word quaint in Tokyo? Of course they do. No, they don't. They can't. They don't have the word quaint in Tokyo. They sleep in shoeboxes. Of course they don't have the word quaint in Tokyo. They do. You ever see those things? They have like giant dressers and they slide people in and they close them in like drawers. Tokyo's the fucking shit. I gotta go before it starts glowing from that fucking tsunami last year. That's still happening, right? You folks are over there. You folks? Maybe that's why they're all over here. You know what? Actually, the tsunami took away all their stairs. That's why they're here looking at stairs. They're just like, oh my God, stairs. Remember those? Those were great. They climb on them and walk up and down. And they look around for a panda. I assume that's half the battle of being Japanese. At all times, your head is on the swivel for panda attack. I've seen that country. Especially after the tsunami. That's when the pandas saw their opportunity. That whole now is that entire area is panda prefecture, because I don't know if you know that pandas are immune to radiation. Did you know that? I don't know if you knew that. They can't get it up anyway, so they're not worried about any sort of sex reproductive thing. Because I mean, look, half the time when you see pandas, what are they trying to do? People are trying to get them to fuck, which is how weird would it be to be a panda and just have an entirely different species keeps knocking on the door and goes, "Are you guys fucking yet?" Let a panda be a panda. Jesus Christ, don't step up and start making them fuck, for God's sake. Because it's like, look, it's under the guise of preserving their species and making sure there are more pandas for the future. But really, it's just because you want to watch another species fuck. That's really the only reason you do it. And the only reason you want to procreate pandas is so you'll always have pandas to watch fuck. It's true. I love the fact that I insist it's true. It's true. Don't you realize that? The only reason they want pandas to fuck is so there's always going to be pandas who fuck. They want their generations of children to be able to say, hey, I got to see these pandas fuck. That's the thing. Oh, Christ. So Japanese tourists, find somewhere else to go in Hollywood. Well, there's nowhere else to go in Hollywood, I guess. I don't know. Why am I mad at them? Come here. I'm not mad at them. I'm astonished that you live in such a fascinating and amazing place and that you would come here and look at our rudimentary buildings. Which it's not rudimentary. I guess it's nice, right? Hollywood and Highland?
Hollywood and Highland's beautiful.
I don't know. Certainly for Hollywood Boulevard, it's beautiful. Holy Christ. It is the nicest building I've ever seen that has Barbara Billingsley's name embedded in the sidewalk in front of it. All right, so there's tourists, and then there's coffee shops and things like that in there. So I guess it's a tourist location, but then there's these little hole in the wall places you can eat. This happened to me today because I'm weird. All right, I'm as if you don't know that by now. Lily makes fun of me because I come into her house and I touch things. All right, like I guess, and her boyfriend does it too. But if there's something small, like there's like she has a dolphin nose, like a prosthetic dolphin nose that looks like a vagina. She has it right here on her table. So every week I pick it up and I look at it and I'm like, ooh, look, oh, vagina. And she's like, put it down, stupid. And then she had a clip here that looks like a little duck guy. It looks like a little guy's mouth. So I picked it up and I was like faking like he was talking. And she's like, why are you touching things? Stop touching things. And then she has pasties that look like actually pagodas. It looks like a pagoda hat. Like I want to put it on and start building a railroad. That's what these things look like. Tell me I'm wrong. Look at it. So I want to put it on and then pretend to be a celestial and have Al Swearingen yell cocksucker at me. So she's like, stop touching, stop. But here's the thing. All right, look, as fastidious and weird as as weird as she thinks I'm being, she's just as weird, because I will pick up this pasty and I will look at it and then I will put it down an inch from where it was. And then she goes, why are you touching things? And she reaches over and moves it back over an inch. As if in her mind, all of the junk in her house is completely cataloged in the spot that it's in now. And the second you move it, she's never going to be able to find it again. Bullshit. Pasty pagoda goes right there, and right next to it is a little pasty pagoda friend. If I move it an inch, they're still next to one another.
Everything gets out of sorts.
Oh, see? You're just as fucking weird as I am. Don't pretend that you're not.
I am weird.
Okay, good. But she gets all like hasty and strange. This is not a weird contest. Put your weird dick away. We're not having a weird dick measuring contest.
Your dick's weirder.
No. Don't get, look, seriously, that's a contest I will win. All right, actually, if you whip out your dick is much weirder than mine. All right. You will win a weird dick contest, bar none. So yeah. So I'm over there at the building today, and I go. Here's the thing: you have to park, and it's busy because it's the weekend, and there's a ceremony. Remember I said they have the Oscars there today? The Directors Guild Awards are over there. So when it's really funny when you pull in, they're all dressed up and fancy at the parking garage. So I pulled up, and when I see them and I see the signs and I see the dudes in blue vests, immediately I go, wait a minute, are you telling me I'm not even going to be able to park here this week? Because I'm fucked. Then I'm really fucked if I can't even park there, and I have to pay the fucking $10. So I pull up, and the guy in the blue vest makes me roll down my window. And he goes, DGA Awards? And I said, nope, regular guy. And he goes, oh, go to this, go right here. And because they have, fancy schmancy people on for two of the aisles, and then they got the shit aisle for real people. And then when I pull down there, everybody's in the shit real people aisle. There's nobody going to the DGA Awards, at least not at the time not at 5 PM. So I pulled up, I get my ticket, I go to park, and I walk upstairs. Here's what you have to do. All right, you have to leave the parking garage. You have to take 9 escalators up to the top, and you have to go get your parking validated, or else the $10 turns into $30 quickly. $10 is validated, folks. That's right. I'm sure, because the whole time I'm saying $10, I'm sure you're going, dude, why don't you just fucking get it validated? Nope. Even if I was to go buy a fucking bullshit thing at See's, is it See's Candies? What candy house is it?
Candy's there. It's new, and I'm so excited.
Oh, and there's it's Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory is the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, fucking tourists, how much chocolate do you guys need to eat? Because there's those two. There's the Crumbs Bakery, and then there's that Kelly's Fudge Shop.
Yes, and then Papa Smurf or whatever his name is around the corner.
This is all America has to offer: is stairs and fudge. Yeah. That's it. That's what Japan does. That I would imagine it's the stairs and fudge tour. That's what they do. They're here for 2 days, and then they get in a plane and they go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they walk up the stairs into the Hershey factory, check out their wares. Grab and hop right back out on the Hershey Highway and go over to wherever else has stairs and fudge. Look, pack lightly for the fudge tour. God, how awful. What am I, 5 years old? I went Hershey Highway and then went with Fudge Packer. Why? You know what? Because I haven't slept. That's why. I don't sleep. I become 11-year-old me, and I just giggle like an idiot. And then I take a frozen pizza wrapped in plastic, and I cook it with the plastic on. I told that story on here, right? If I did not tell that story, go by year 2. Or no, year 1. I don't know what it was. You new people, go by all of the years. Everybody who writes me wants a handout. God damn it. Nobody wants a handout. Nobody's like, hey, give me your free episodes. They're just like, hey, man, where can I hear more of you? Well, I go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. That's where you can hear more of me. Yeah, exactly. I'm here every week. That's where you can hear more of me. And then I duck out for a clip show. I'm here every goddamn week, folks. Well, maybe not this week, but still, I'm here usually every week. You can find me in the middle of the week. I'm here Thursday morning in your ears. So what you have to do is I have to walk up into the parking garage there after 9 escalators, and I have to go ahead and walk past 18 fudge shops, and I have to get validated. So, and then at that point, you're out on the street, and you're looking across the street at Jimmy Kimmel's theater, and then there's real people, like, putting their footprints in Cary Grant's shoes, footprints, and all sorts of bullshit. So, and by the way, Cary Grant, the smallest feet of all time. Didn't he wore like a size 4 ladies shoe. Unbelievable. To the point where I wondered if, because again, old Hollywood also had that weird sex shit. I don't think that was Cary Grant's feet. I think he pulled the shoe that he keeps in his ass out, like, because he had some weird fetish, and he used those to make the footprints. I mean, honestly, because in the old days, stars could get away with all that bullshit, unless Danny DeVito showed up with the camera, and then Kevin Spacey reenacted it on a fucking television show. All right, so hush, hush. Keep it on the QT. All right, so it's confidential information, folks. So I'm walking around, and I have to go validate, so I have to make my way through all the tourists and their cameras. And with real cameras, not just cell phone cameras, they have actual cameras. These people bring cameras to our country. I don't know why I'm up in arms over it. But I walk over to get validated, so I go ahead and I get validated. And as I do that, I put my hands on the counter, and then they had a brochure there. And ask Lily, she will tell you, if there's fun brochures, I will sometimes bring them to her. And she's like, why are you bringing me this garbage? Last year, I brought her one that said Laura Ingalls was doing some sort of reading at Hollywood and Highland. And I was like, here you go. She's like, why are you fucking bringing this to me? Because I touched it. And the guy at the counter said, you touched it, you bought it, take it. So I do that, I'll touch a pen, whatever, I walk around. And as I'm leaving, I turn around and I walk past Kelly's Fudge Shop, and they have chairs out front. And there's like a couple big families, but there's chairs that are empty. And I have to touch all the chairs when I walk by. It's just what I do. If they're facing, all right, let's put it this way. If the backs of the chairs are facing me, I have to touch the backs of the chairs. I don't ring around the rosy and touch every chair at the table. But anything that's on the outer periphery that I'm going to walk past, it's bing, 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 bing. I have to touch the 4 chairs as I walk by. I just do. So today, there's like a couple of families, and it's a huge crowd, but nobody's sitting in the chairs. I'm like, all right, I got to still touch those chairs, even though the family's there and they don't see me coming or whatever. So I walk, and there's a family sitting in a couple of the chairs, but not all of the chairs. And they have little kids, and they're all talking in a different language. And they're discussing where they're going to find the best fish soup in Los Angeles. So as I'm walking through, and I think they're having a chocolate discussion of which is the best chocolate of the 18 shops. So I walk by, and it's like there's 4 chairs in a row, and there's families there and children and small babies, and that's okay. I'm not going to bother them. I'm not going to bump them. And I walk, and I touch the first chair, touch the second chair, touch the third chair, touch the 4th chair, and realize that there's something on the 4th chair I probably didn't want to put my hand in. And I turn around and look, and my hand is like wet, like crazy wet. My fingers and my thumb are soaked. And I look at the chair, and the back of the chair is shiny. And I look at my hand, and the first instinct you have, folks, as I'm sure all of you know, is to smell your hand. But I will tell you this: I am very good at ignoring my first instinct. Because I look and I touch something wet, and my hand was sticky wet, and I picked my hand up and I saw there was stickiness on all my fingers and my thumb as I rubbed I did that with like the money symbol. I apparently did that. It was very important to me. Once I saw that my hands were sticky, I went, oh, money, money, money. And I rubbed my fingers together. But I looked down at the chair, and it was glowing, and it was like kind of wet and like drippy. And I was like, oh. So again, first thing is to smell your hand. And I was like, well, I'm not going to smell my fucking hand because I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm in the middle of Hollywood. And I love the fact that my location even factors into me smelling my hand. Let me ask you something. Where in the world would it have been safe to smell my hand after something like that happening? You know what? I can tell you another place it would not be Tokyo. Absolutely not. After I heard what they replaced their stairs with. I'm sorry. I may not even bring my nose when I pack for Tokyo. Every building smells like a virgin being defiled by an octopus. No, thank you. I don't need to get upstairs that badly, quite frankly. I will stay on the ground floor in Tokyo. But when it was slick, like it wasn't sticky. I mean, it was sort of sticky, but it was also slick. So I like in my head, I was like, I thought it was activator. Like immediately my brain went to activator, like Jerry Curl activator. Because I'm from the 80s, all right? The first thing I thought of was Jerry Curl activator. But then I looked around and I realized Morris Day was not there getting fudge. He may have been. You know what I should have done? I should have just yelled, "What time is it?" And if I would have got a call in response, I would have known exactly what was on my hand. But I looked around. All I saw were Japanese tourists. I didn't see Morris Day, Ice Cube, or Eric Dickerson anywhere. So I immediately ruled out Activator Jerry Curl stuff. Because I knew Randy Watson was not there doing a concert in the Kodak Arena because the DGA Awards are there. Randy Watson. Sexual chocolate. Our friend Todd Rush, who has donated to the show 1 billion times, he wrote me, it was like literally his email just said, "Coming to America." And underneath it, he just wrote, "This movie's fucking hilarious." And I met Todd in Portland, and Todd's, he might be, I think he's 35. That's a guess. If not, I apologize, Todd. I mean, you look like a man who's experienced 35 years of hardship. All right, that's all I'll say. If you're older than that, good for you. If you're younger than that, But yeah, dude, how the fuck have you not seen Coming to America? But in the email he wrote, he goes, "I always thought it was like going to be bad." How could it be bad? It's Eddie Murphy, for fuck's sake. Eddie Murphy was a genius back in the 80s / 90s. Maybe not the 90s. And also he was not there in the mall. So I knew it was not. I knew that was not what was on the chair. Teach them well and let them lead the way. God damn it. Randy Watson. God, seriously, go watch it. Go watch Coming to America. Right now, as a matter of fact, turn this off. Any new people from Mental Illness Podcast? You've heard enough, right? Go ahead and turn this off and go watch Coming to America for free. It's on me. I'll send it right to you. Send me an email and I will send you a link to where you can pirate it somewhere. Because God knows we all want to pirate movies from 1985.
Oh my God.
When you're done with Coming to America, write me and I'll send you Night of the Comet.
Oh, man.
You got a problem with Night of the Comet? Night of the Comet has actually, it's like this fucking horrible, terrible movie. But there's a scene in it that's fucking amazing because there's these guys who are like zombies who like have no eyes or whatever the fuck. And the main guy is he's amazing in it. Like I almost want to, you know what? I should right now. Let's have a new feature on the show. Mike looks up things from the past that he thought were interesting. And then he talks about it live on the air. Stupid. I'm just filling time at this fucking point now. I am so much on fumes. Literally, I am getting out my cell phone and looking up things on IMDb for you. Oh, folks, here's another thing. Jimmy Stewart was in 80 movies. Let's take them in alphabetical order. Oh, man. Click. I can hear you fuckers just clicking them off all over America and Malaysia. Don't think I'm on. I'm still on to you, Malaysia. With your sneakiness and your Shazam costumes. All right, so, folks, that's from earlier in the run. You mental illness people won't be able to get that until year 4 goes on sale eventually. But I can tell you now, it was genius. Oh, my God. All right, so, I love the fact that I'm willing to pirate Eddie Murphy's movies and Night of the Comet, but you got to buy my content. No, pony up some cash for me. I'm certainly much more important than the people in Night of the Comet who are getting residuals that I'm stealing right out from underneath them as I pirate their movie. Look, nobody's pirating Night of the Comet. Calm down. Calm down. People are up in arms. They're so furious. Oh, stop pirating Night of the Comet. Isn't that a scary noise? That's the guy. You got to see him. I can't explain it. In your wildest dreams. I can't even. Oh, just see him. He's fucking great. Because these zombies who kidnap a cheerleader and her sister, and then they're saved by a guy who looks like a fat Tito Santana. All right. You remember Tito Santana? Arriba. He was a wrestler from WWF in the 80s. By the way, when I looked around the mall, you know who else was not there? Jimmy Superfly Snuka. So I knew it could not be Activator on the chair. Snuka wasn't there. There weren't coconut bits all over the place from Roddy Piper smashing him in the fucking head. Roddy Piper. I'll tell you, don't mess with Roddy Piper. Just when you think you've got all the answers, he changes the questions. He's the first guy I ever heard say that. God damn it, Roddy Piper. All right, so. By the way, he's Roddy Piper. There's a woman MMA fighter. Look, I like MMA fighting, folks. You know that. As a matter of fact, there's a UFC event that I'm missing right now as we record this. That I'm TiVoing though. I can't wait to go home and fast forward through it. Perhaps I'll pirate it. Maybe I'll pirate it. Oh, don't do that. UFC. Oh, dude, Dana White. Did you guys see that this week? Dana White got into a fight with Anonymous.
Oh.
The guys from fucking. I can't even say where they're from because I expect them. They're Legion, but they're just from everywhere. Like Anonymous, those dudes in the Guy Fawkes masks who fuck around with everything on the internet. And And Dana, look, I like Dana White. I actually do. I mean, sure, he's a kind of a meathead dude a little bit, but I like the UFC, and I actually like Dana as a personality. And I met him, but here in Los Angeles once. I would love to tell you about it, but you'll have to go ahead and buy it. Mental illness people, go ahead and buy it. It could not be a better title for those people too, by the way. All right, look, I've gone on like 12 tangents. What the fuck were we talking about?
Money, sticky fingers.
Oh yeah, sticky fingers. But I rented. There was something else there that that was good. Oh, so Dana's fighting with Anonymous now. It's
yes.
So he starts because they hacked. What was it? He's against pirating, and he's in favor of SOPA and Pippa. Is it SOPA and Pippa?
Yes.
Or is that that sounds like, weren't they? They're the elves from Great Expectations, right? SOPA and Pippa, and then they
Oh my god.
are they elves? By the way, really, when you think about it, weren't elves in Great? They were children, right?
Yes.
They were urchins. All right, they're not elves. So Dana is in favor of SOPA and Pippa, which I have to separate from Dana a little bit there because I am not in support of that. I think it's fucking ridiculous, quite frankly, and I don't understand the overreach, and who cares? But you don't listen to this podcast to hear what I think about politics. Because if you did, I would have an entire episode on the Republican debates, and you guys would be like, why do you... Dude, you stuck your hand in a puddle of gunk. Why are you telling us your political opinions? But SOPA, some people actually wrote me, and they're like, dude, you should talk about SOPA and Pippa on your show because they affect you. And it's like, they affect all of us, quite frankly. But nobody gives a fuck about what I think, really. I mean, I'm against it. Any right-minded person is against it, right? I would, that's...
And there goes half the audience.
Well, I'm just being serious. I mean, if people, really? The people who are getting content from me off the internet are in favor of SOPA and Pippa? I doubt it. I can't be in favor of SOPA and Pippa. If I was, how could I get you coming to America and Night of the Comet? Those cannot. We have to get those to you soon before those go into effect. So Dana White is in favor of it, and I'm just like, what, dude? What the fuck? Pick your battles. You know what I mean? Because every time, you know what's funny? Anytime they ask him things that are out of the realm of possibility, he'll always say stuff like, dude, I'm in the fight business. I don't want to talk about that shit. Like, and genuinely, he means it. Like, I just want to talk about fucking fighting. But then, because of pirating, he gets involved in it, and he supports SOPA and Pippa, and it's like, dude, no, stick to the fight business. That was the whole point. But the problem is, he thinks the fight business he can use his solutions for the fight business here to fight Anonymous. Dude, it's like, it's funny because he's such a huge Bruce Lee fan, Dana White, and Bruce Lee was always like, you must be like water. All right, when you're fighting. Well, dude, fighting Anonymous, that's like fighting water. You can't fight the internet. The internet is the ocean. You're never going to beat it. It's always going to fucking be there. Unless you're one of the 7 Chinese brothers who's going to try to drink it all up. And that's not going to fucking happen. Okay? And by the way, I know you're not one of the 7 Chinese brothers because I actually saw them today buying fudge. Wearing pagoda pasties on their heads. Trying to get me to help them build a railroad before Al Swearingen shot them and dumped them and fed them to pigs. So Dana's, he's picking a fight he can't win because I like Dana, but he thinks that if he acts tough, like these guys will stand down because he can talk tough and kind of bully fighters into doing stuff. And Anonymous is that's like, again, you're like punching air. You don't know who they are or where they're coming from, but all you know is they're going to fuck you up eventually. Because Dana this week, he started talking shit, and he actually, I have to admit, he made me laugh because he's such a dumb fuck where he says meathead things like he wants to fight. You know what I mean? That's how he talks. He talks like a fighter. So you're dealing with these guys on the internet. So he keeps calling them nerds or whatever the fuck. He's like, completely fighting. And Anonymous is like, they keep writing him back and they're saying, well, you don't recognize the good that we've done and, in the Greens, the Arab Spring and things like that. And he's like, look, I don't give a shit. Just stop stealing from my business. You guys want to change the world? That's fine. Just don't steal from me or my business. Which makes sense. I mean, I kind of understand that. But Anonymous isn't the one who's pirating his shows. He's declaring the entire internet one entity, and that's not the fucking case, man. As we know, the internet, again, it's like the ocean, folks. It's like water. There's a million different things that you can deal with. So then Anonymous, he starts to ramp up the rhetoric with them, and they're just like, really? All right, dude, if that's how you want to be. And someone said, so then finally they texted him, or they twittered him the thing that said, we are Anonymous, we are Legion, expect us, which is their...
Not good.
That's kind of their line in the sand. And he continued. He still like went back and forth with them like he didn't recognize it. So then they wrote, "We do not forgive. We do not forget. Continue to expect us," because they hacked UFC.com. After that, they hacked UFC.com and put it offline. And he was like, and he even said, "Fuck you. I don't care. Do it again." Because that's how he deals with things. I mean, he just doesn't. It's insane. He's a fighter, or he's not even a fighter. Okay, he just hangs out with tough guys. So then, after more back and forth, they're like, "We do not forgive, we do not forget, continue to expect us." And Dana White, he said to them, "I'm trying to remember he was like, yeah, you told me that. All right, go get creepy and try to be scary somewhere else. That shit don't work here, dork." Like, which is exactly what a tough guy bully would say in high school to a nerd. I mean, it was like the worst. What are you doing? They already hacked your site and put it offline. So they saw that and they were like, "All right, dude." And so then that night, because I happened to be online, they took down UFC.com. They took down UFC.tv. And then they Twittered Dana White's home address. They Twittered his phone numbers in his office, his cell phone numbers, his regular numbers. They Twittered his social security number. They put the information of the tax lien that's against him. His criminal record. They put it all. They just Twittered it all out, and they put it at paste bin. They're like, "Here, check it out, Dana." And my favorite tweet I saw from somebody was because this happened late, and someone, because people are writing at it because they actually started worldwide trending. OP UFC is what it was called, Operation UFC, and someone wrote, "Dana White needs to get out of bed now." Because they had put all of his personal information up. They were Twittering it. And they put it at paste bin. I think it's still up. You can probably still find it. I'm sure he's had a headache dealing with it. But it's like, dude, you can't fight the internet, man. You can't. Eventually, people are going to find a way to get stuff. Or they're just going to write you a note and say, "Hey, where can I find more of you?" And you're going to turn them down and tell them they can't. They have to pay for you. You have to pay for my content. However, if you'd like a copy of Coming to America, I know where you can find one of those. How the fuck did I get into Dana and SOPA?
Roddy and all of that.
And people were very nice writing me to ask about SOPA and talk about it. And it was like, well, I don't know if anybody wants to hear from me. If you've heard the show, look, folks, all you new people, if you've heard the show in the past 3 weeks, you know where I stand on issues, right? No, you don't. You know where I stand on issues? I stand firmly in New York, hoping that I don't have to get on a boat with strangers. And that's even a lie. I want to get on a boat with strangers. We can pretend that I don't. I can pretend that I'm highfalutin and I don't want to get on a boat with strangers. Look, if you've got a boat and you're a stranger, call me. I will show. That's actually a ride I'll take. If you're a stranger with a boat, call me. I will show up and meet you so we can go out for a ride on the high seas. Let's go pirating. Me and a strange listener. And I'll have my monocle and my top hat because at that point the government will have given it back. And that's a good pirate outfit, right? A monocle and a top hat. I would get pirated by my pirate friends. They would pillage me. They would think I was rich. Monocle and top hat. All right. So what the fuck was I talking about? Women's MMA. So I only mentioned that because there's this chick, like, she's a fighter and I'm following her now on Twitter because she had like 3 fights and she's hot. So that's it. Dude, if you see a chick slapping somebody around, I'm in. It happened to me once at a strip club. Oh, you don't know about that, folks? Go ahead and buy your 2. This is so awful that I keep just dropping these hints, but people, look, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in my history that you need to unearth. You need to start digging in the dirt like Peter Gabriel, buddy. All right. So yeah, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, because I was talking about Roddy Piper, and now this chick is Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and she's like a judo person, and she's blonde. Oh, and she Twittered herself a picture of herself this week with a black eye, and hot. Now look, I don't like all women with black eyes. Let me go ahead and say that. But for some reason it worked for her. It really worked for her because she's just kind of tough and she swears. Oh, I'm a fan. All right, so I'm gonna shut up, an idiot. All right, so I'm at the mall. It's not a mall. It's a building. And I've got my hand is like slick and wet and kind of sticky, but it's like all over my fingers. And I look at the chair and it's like dripping. It's like it's the back of the chair. And I thought it was activator, but and in my head I'm like, oh fuck, what is this? And I look around and like I said, there were all these families there. And there's a few tables out there with chairs, and some of the people are sitting in chairs. And I look over, and there's this family, and they're all talking, and they're speaking in a different language because they're foreign. And there was one member of the family who was not talking. But it was probably still foreign because he was part of the family, and also he was a baby. That's one of the reasons why he was not talking. There were two reasons he was not talking. All right, because one, he was a baby, and two, it's because he had his mouth firmly planted on the back of the chair that he was sitting in.
Oh.
And as he was doing it, there was like spit and stuff all over the chair he was on. And I made the assumption that he had been in a previous chair and he had chewed all of the taste out of the back of it and had to be relocated to a different, tastier chair there outside of the fudge shop. So I thought my hand was covered with Activator Jerry Curl juice, but instead it was covered with Asian baby mouth sauce. And I knew immediately at that second I needed to wash my hand within seconds before a panda leaped out and gnawed off my arm. Because if pandas love anything more than being watched while they fuck, it's eating Asian baby mouth sauce. That's like hoisin sauce to a panda. Baby drool out of an Asian baby is like hoisin sauce to your standard panda. A standa. I like to call him a standa. I like to call a standard panda a standa because I shorten it up, folks. I don't have enough time. I'm not verbose. I can't be boring you folks with all these different words. A standa. And not a can't stand you. It's just a standa. So I had to get this Asian baby mouth sauce off me post haste. So I'm looking around for like a bathroom because again, it's tons of tourists and fudge, but one thing they don't have is a lot of bathrooms over there. And I felt like Batman trying to get rid of a bomb in the movie. I'm like running around looking, and then finally I took a lap and looked for the restroom, and I was so panicked. I'm sure I walked past it like 9 times. But I couldn't. I was so panicked because again, my hand is covered with Asian baby mouth sauce, and I know I'm about to get accosted by a standa at any second. So instead, I took the escalator up, and then I'm walking up the escalator, and nothing infuriates people more, and especially Asian tourists, than an American walking up an escalator. Because they get on the escalator, and which is weird, because they're so fascinated with stairs, the Asians, because they don't have them in Tokyo. You would think when they get on the escalator, they would use them as stairs as well, incorporating the future with the past. But no, they're just standing there looking around. You know what? Maybe because they got their head in a swivel looking for a standa who might just leap out at any second. Because they know their mouths are filled with tasty Asian mouth sauce. And oh my God, the delectable Asian baby mouth sauce all over my hand. So finally I go up the escalator and there's like a lid stored. I'm looking around and I can't find the restroom. And finally I ducked into the food court and I grabbed napkins and I wiped it off. So my hand was not officially clean in my opinion. So here's what I did. Again, I'm an idiot. Please recognize that. I ducked into like that Greek sandwich shop or whatever it's called. I don't know what the fuck is. That is not a Daphne's, but it's got some weird funky name. And I grabbed napkins and then I said, "Hey, can I use your sink?" And let me tell you, no is the answer. Often, if you ever go into the food court at your local mall and walk up to any of them and go, "Hey, can I use your sink?" The answer is always no. Even if you were to warn them that you were covered in tasty Asian baby mouth sauce and a standa may attack you at any second. All they do then is they go, "Shoo, get away. We don't need you luring pandas into our area." So I asked them if I could use their sink in the Greek place, and they're like, "No." And I guess I could have gone to every store, but in my head, I processed the fact that nobody's going to let me use their sink. And I'm not fully clean until I'm zestfully clean after being covered in Asian baby mouth sauce. So here's what I did, folks. This is another reason. I'm late as it is getting here because there was a standoff in traffic and all sorts of bullshit, but it didn't matter to me. I went back down to my car in the parking garage to get the bottle of water out of my car and pour it all over my hand and wash my hand with the towel and water that were in my car. I did not want to risk having Asian baby mouth sauce on me for even one further second. I was racing against time to get into the fucking parking garage before I got taken down by a standa. And I certainly didn't want to come to Lily's house with covered in Asian baby mouth sauce because who knows what's lurking in the hallway here. So I'm no longer sticky and I'm certainly clean. D's for never dirty, MC's for mostly clean. Ha ha. $5 if you know what that is. Incorrect, I will never pay you. DMC, people always ask me, DMC, what does it mean? D's for never dirty, MC's for mostly clean. I love the fact that D is for never dirty. Why? Wouldn't D for dirty? I would think D would be for dirty, Daryl Mack. Or you can call him D. You can call him Daryl Mack or you can call him DMC. People always ask me, DMC, what does it mean? D's for never dirty, MC's for mostly clean. Aren't you glad you tuned in today, folks? I'm going to rep the Run DMC catalog to you. I be illin'. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I be illin'. Dinner. You ate it. There is none left. It was salty with butter, and it was deaf. I got to stop. All right, I'll stop. You proceeded to eat it because you was in the mood, but Holmes, you did not read it, was a can of dog food. You be illin'. Folks, I did a podcast 2 days ago. I have nothing to talk about. You're lucky I didn't just start rapping Run DMC from the jump. But instead, look at all the fun we've had with pandas and Asian mouth sauce. And lax of stairs. And pasty pagodas. All right. So it dawns on me, like I said, I think this might be a good week for a clip show. Not a clip show, but certainly a clip. And I couldn't figure out, because I've done clips in the past and stuff like that with other stories. So I'm actually we're going to harken back to year one for this particular story. That's right. Year one is when we get this story from. And this was the first time, I think this was the first time, long time. First time I did like a longer type story. And it actually, and it wasn't intended to be that. I just kept talking and it became the story. Which I'm sure is hard for you to believe, quite frankly. Wait, you mean you just kept talking and a story got longer and longer? That doesn't make any sense at all. Tell us more about the standas. But in the olden days, folks, that wasn't the case. I mean, when I would tell a story that was long, I would always be kind of shocked that I talked as long as I did. And I figure it's fitting now to drop this on you guys because it is February. It is the beginning of February now. And as we know, February is Black History Month. Which I've already touched on a little bit by talking about Eric Dickerson. I may be the first podcast in history to reference Eric Dickerson. I'm actually willing to go on a limb and say that. The Sklar's might have done it, though. They do a lot of sports. Because it's a sports show. Of course they do a lot of sports, idiot. So I'm going to bring this to you. This is the story. This was a very important part of year one. This was my Black History Month moment. This is the 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Coming up, I'm gonna bite that baby. Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-Year-Old Boy, please welcome Elvis Costello.
Oh, Kanye West, get off my lawn, get off my lawn, get off my lawn, get off my lawn.
Black History Month. I don't know, what stories do I have that are relevant for Black History Month? What could I possibly say? I don't know. Now it's stupid. Now I'm like thinking about stories that would be relevant to Black. I like peanut butter. How does that sound, folks? Didn't that guy, a black guy, discovered peanut butter, right? George Washington Carver. All right, good. He discovered. I enjoyed the television show The White Shadow. That was a bunch of black guys, and the reason I thought of that was because Carver was the high school, right? George Washington Carver discovered peanut butter, and he named the high school The White Shadow. This is all useless Black History Month trivia. I'll tell you. You know what? I'll say this. When I lived in Tahoe, which I talked about a little bit last week, I wound up working in a bar As I've mentioned, I was bouncing in that bar and DJing in that bar. And when I say I was DJing, again, I was just filling in as the DJ because my friend, DJ, yes, his name was DJ and he was a DJ. I know it seems impossible. And I don't even know if if his real name was DJ. He had, like, that was his Indian name. And I know that sounds ridiculous. And at the time it sounded ridiculous, but it helped him get laid. But what did he care? He didn't care at all because, like I said, his real name was Greg, but his Indian name was Django. I'm not even kidding. But he would give his name was like, actually, was it? Yeah, Django. Oh, I can't say his full name because that's what this whole show is about, is me not saying full names. You know, my show, it's funny. I was watching A-Rod's podcast yesterday about steroids and watching him talk and go on and on. His show, his press conference was like it was like my podcast because he couldn't give any real names or dates and he couldn't commit to anything because there might be some sort of incriminating evidence that came out. He's just like, yeah, my cousin and I were doing that, and I'm not sure what it was we were doing, but we went ahead and we got it from here, and just everything was so vague, and I'm watching and I'm furious, and then I'm realizing, hey, that's what people probably think when they listen to my show, because they want, like, names and last names. Like, people were asking me last names and, like, what the record store was after I talked about that. It's like, I'm not going to say. I mean, just in case there's some litigious cocksucker who still works for them who's, like, been, you know, like, you ever see Seinfeld when they have the library cop? What if there's one guy who's associated with that record chain who's still trying to track down why everything went to hell? And I want nothing to do with it. So that name will never be said. And so suck on that, flip side. All right, so I will tell you that so I watched A-Rod's podcast. His podcast. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a podcast, A-Rod. And how sad was it, folks? Did you see it? It was so pathetic. And he's talking about, he never said steroids. And then he actually said, I don't think what I was doing was steroids. Really? What are they injecting you with? Fucking pixie sticks? Honestly, you fucking hump. And then he's like, my cousin and I did it. It was amateur hour. Yeah, because I can remember the times in my youth when my cousin and I would just inject each other with needles because it was the thing to do. Who the fuck are you kidding? And he actually used the phrase, like, I was experimenting with my cousin. I got to be honest. In the old days, that used to either mean you had a measuring tape out, or all right, I'm not gonna. I don't want to say anything, but because I had a crush on one of my cousins growing up, like my cousin Karen, and like not even like a sex crush. You ever have that where you just know that you really like somebody? Because I was young, I was a kid, I didn't know anything, and I just knew that I wanted to be with her all the time, like because she was so cool, and she was a little older than me, and so we would go to her house, and then I would look at her, I would stare at her Black Sabbath Paranoid album, and just be like, oh, I love Karen, but then she's my cousin, so you're like, oh, I'm a kid, I gotta let this go, so. And so I let it go about a year ago. And, but yeah, to hear A-Rod talking about steroids, and not even talking about steroids, just that vague, well, I could have done something, but I'm not sure. It just reminded me of my show. All right, so, what was I talking about? DJ. All right, so Deej and I, he was one of the guys I lived with in Tahoe, and then he was the DJ, and I was the rapper. That's how it worked with the Fresh Prince. All right, so... He was a DJ, and then I would fill in with him because he would go to get laid. And then I would have to go up to the booth, and I would run the booth, and then we all heard about what happened in the booth several times. But there was another DJ who worked there, and this girl was named Molly. And Molly was an African-American woman. So she had fled to Tahoe from Arizona because they did not want her there. They were adamant about it. They chased her to the border. And she ran, and then she got to Tahoe somehow. So she wound up working there. And it was weird. Within 2 weeks of her working there, I would see her, and we had like a chemistry, like there was a vibe there, and I didn't, and again, you got to know at this time, I was just a fucking walking hard on. Like I was, at this point, I had been laid, and so all I was looking to do was just ravage everything that was in my way. Dogs, cats, trees, mud, as Lenny Bruce would say, everything was going down. So, I was just in testosterone overdrive, and I met Molly, and again, Molly, African-American woman, and I was, I'm sure, probably excited about that. I was excited about a lot of things, but I mean, I who cares at this point? Anybody who smiled at me was getting fucked. I didn't care. So Molly and I wound up pairing off, and one night, it was like the shift ended, because it was a bar that closed around 7 in the morning, and then we would all go over to this after hours bar because it's, fucking Nevada. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. So rather than everybody was going over to the Goalpost and go eat Goalpost burgers and play foosball and video poker, I looked at her and she looked at me and she's like, "Hey, you want to ride home?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." And we wind up back at her place going at it. And I mean, like fucking hardcore, like, and right, one of those crazy things like you see in a movie where the door opens and then you close it and you're leaning up against that door and you don't even get out of the foyer before you're on the ground fucking, like that kind of craziness. So we're going and doing that, and I'm there like the whole night, like I mean, and she, up to this point, like I said, I'd been banging people, but I'm still kind of finding my way on what I'm supposed to do. And I'm, you're picking up little pieces from everybody that you're with, and you're incorporating them, and you're like, oh, I got game. I'm going to try to feature it here. But then she stepped it up like to a completely different level. Like she went down on me with a mouthful of water. Like she was like, oh, hold on. And she put water in her mouth to go down on me. And I'm just like, this again, for a guy who's this is all new to him, I'm just like, this changes the game a little bit. This is fantastic. And also, this is my first African American woman I'm ever with, and I'm just like, is that a thing? Is that a thing that they do? Is that a community thing? I don't know what's happening. Because again, I'm 21. I don't know what the fuck is happening. So we're going at it, and all night long. I mean, in every room of her apartment, and just that it was great. I mean, it was the greatest. And then we're taking a bath. I mean, it was like that kind of thing. It just happened. And then the next, we go out and have some breakfast, and she brings me home, and I walk in, and I lived with DJ at the time, and he's just like, "What happened to you, dude?" I go, "Dude, don't even." And he's like, "Well," because then they do the math. I live with like 3 other dudes, and they're like, "Well, wait, we were there, and who was there when we left?" Like, there was these, those girls were there, and then those girls from Kentucky were there, but that wasn't that. Oh, wait. And I go, no, don't even. And they go, dude, did you go home with Molly? I go, no, I didn't go home with Molly, because that would have been decided. We're not talking about this. And they're like, dude, you did. You worked Molly last night. And I'm like, no, I swear to God, I didn't. They're like, well, who were you with then? I said, nobody. I went to the casino to gamble. Really? That's what you did? My hair is completely piled up on top of my head. My shirt's on backwards. Yeah, that happens a lot at the casino. So these guys are like, oh man, I can't believe you did. Because there was a thing, like I said, she had just started there, and I guess they were all figuring out who was going to get her. And because I'm not going to lie to you, guys do that, folks. You wind up working with a girl, and everybody's like, hey, who's going to bang that chick? And unbelievably, me, who's 4th place out of 4, I don't even get a bronze medal out of the 3 guys. I lived with Craig, Ransom, and DJ, and all those guys did was fucking lay pipe all over Tahoe, and yet I was the one who scored Molly. They were like, and it was funny. This will give you an idea of the level of friendship. Craig and Ransom were like, dude, and they were like all happy, and DJ was pissed. Like he was pissed that he didn't get fucking plant his flag before I did, and I was like, hey man, fuck that, because he was even more mad because she worked with him in the DJ booth like for 2 weeks, and the whole thing was, and so she wound up saying, hi, you know what, I think I'll take the bouncer instead, so he couldn't handle the fucking blow to his ego. And I don't know why it should have mattered to him. Who fucking cares? Because, I mean, I'm telling you, that guy got fucking serious tail. I mean, and he was the guy, he and I shared a room. So that was always, I would come home and then he'd have some chick in there on his giant waterbed, and I slept on the floor. But I would, again, I'm not an animal. I would stay out in the living room while he was going to work. And then that girl would sneak out in the middle of the night and say, hi, Mike, and then leave. And then I would go back into the room and her underwear would be on the wall. And because that's what we did. We would collect underwear and we would put them on the wall. Except I didn't collect Molly's, and that was another thing they busted my balls on. They're like, dude, you banged. The whole point is we're supposed to be bringing the underwear home and putting it on the fucking wall, dude. What is wrong with you? And I'm just like, it wasn't like that. Yeah, it wasn't like that because half the time I was standing on my fucking head getting laid. It was crazy. I didn't have time to steal underwear. My hands were busy trying to secure the ropes. All right, so it was insane. So we wind up, and then I got to go. So then I got to go to work the next night, and Molly's there. I was like, "Hi," and I don't know. Again, I'm new at all of this, so I haven't done the crazy one night thing and then seeing somebody the next day. I've not had that yet. Everybody I've banged a few times, or it's been some tourist chick who I was in her hotel room and I split. But this time it was somebody I actually had to go to work and see the next day. So imagine that, like you walk in and she's like, hi, and I'm like, hi, and you go for like an awkward hug kind of, and she's just like, no, that's not happening. And then I have to pretend like I was just like doing a swim dance. Like I don't know what the fuck happens. So she's in the DJ booth and we're working and everything's fine. And, and I figured, well, I'm going to go ahead and take another shot at this. So, closing time, I went to Molly and I was like, hey, can I get a ride home? Because I know what that was code for yesterday. And she's like, nah, I don't think so. I got to get home tonight. And so then that's a death blow because then I'm like, oh man, was I awful at this? Like, because then it opens up all sorts of, cans of worms and self-doubt. Because again, I'm new to this, so I don't know if I'm doing it right or I did what I was told that night. I'll be honest, that night I didn't really have to do much. I just kind of did what I was told. I held the fan and I moved the lamp and I grabbed the headboard and I stood on the bed when I was told and I laid down when I was told. So. I was a fuck puppet the entire night, and that was fine. And I thought I did a great job. And I'm a younger man, so and I was there a few hours. Let's do the math, folks. I mean, I went back for fourths. I mean, we went off, and so I thought I did a great job. Like I was, because again, as a guy, you're keeping score. Like in your mind, you're just like, oh, dude, I fucking knocked the bottom out of that. But apparently, the bottom was well secured because. The next night I was like, hey man, let's can I get a ride home? No. All right. So, and then like a handshake, you know what I mean? Or a kiss on the cheek and she's gone. So I was disappointed. So a couple days go by and, I'm at work one night and, I take a break cause I'm the bouncer and I go into the restroom and, Molly's not working at this time. And, I go use the restroom and I am in so much pain when I go to the urinal. I take a piss and it's like, I mean, like the weirdest thing, like I'm pissing razor blades. Like this had never happened to me before. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just like, I shine it. I go, well, whatever the fuck. Cause maybe I drank something. Then I go home and I sleep. I don't know. Cause again, you're 21. Who knows? Who thinks? So I wake up the next day and, I'm all right. I'm going to try to spare you folks the completely graphic thing, but let's just say that I have. I'm trying to. I can't. I don't know how to. All right. There was a nocturnal emission. Let's put it that way. There was a nocturnal emission, but it wasn't like a pleasant kind. Like it wasn't accompanied by a dream of, hey, this is of me at a carnival in the Salt and Pepper Shakers with Cheryl Teagues. It was instead it was a little different, and I got up and I'm like, oh, that's not good at all, and I was in pain. Like it felt like I had stuck my dick into a toaster oven, if that makes any sense to anybody. It was like bright red. It felt like it had the worst sunburn ever, and the toaster oven analogy is apt because there was melted cheese. So it was gruesome. I mean, it was really bad. And I'm sorry to drop that on you. I apologize, but you know what, folks? I got to paint a picture. So it was and I'm like, I go, well, you know what? Just go take a shower. Everything will be fine if you take a shower. And it's funny, my friend Pat always makes fun of me because that's my solution for everything. Whenever I get sick, I go, man, I feel awful. I got to take a super hot shower. I don't care if I have the flu or if my arm was cut off in a thresher. I'm going to take a hot shower and everything's going to be fine. So I go in to take a hot shower, and I'm going to tell you, hot water and soap just aggravates and exacerbates the pain and the condition. It just, sure, it makes it a little more pleasant to look at, but very little. And I wind up, I take a shower, and I get out of the shower, and I go to dry myself off, and it's like, I can't even dry the area. Like, it's so susceptible to shooting pains when I touch it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And so now it starts to dawn on me that something might be wrong. So, and then I think, well, what the hell, what could it be? And then, because again, I've never had any sort of sex, so I don't really think about STDs. And then I go, wait a minute, I might have, and then it dawns, I'm like, I might have, and then I don't even know the name of them. Like, I'm trying to think of the name, and I go, it's the drip. Like, I think of every war movie I've ever thought of in my life. And I go, I got the drip or the clap. The clap, that's what it is, the clap. And or the stomp or what the fuck. That's what it was. It was the stomp. Because you know why? Because somebody hit my dick with a trash can lid. That's what happened. Some guy took a push broom and ran it over my cock, and then two other guys smashed a trash can lid on it. I had the stomp. All right. So I had, but honestly, like I'm like I got the drip or the clap. Like I didn't know, I couldn't even think of the technical name of what I had. So I go to DJ, who is, he's my touchstone for getting laid. I mean, this guy's just like banged everybody and everything. So I said to him, I get out of the shower, I get dressed, and I go, hey, hey, I gotta ask you a question. And he's like, yeah, and I go, dude, I'm my dick is fucked up. I mean, I can't even think about. We're not good enough friends for me to say, sir, my penis is inflamed. Like, I mean, I got to try to, still guy it up. And all the guys are home, and I'm like, God, my dick is fucked up. And they're like, what do you mean? And I go, dude, it's just not good. I can't even touch it. And when I piss, it's like I'm pissing out fucking razor wire. I mean, it's just, there's something wrong. And there's like a beat, and my buddy Craig goes, well, let's see it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, seriously, dude, like, we got to see it because we got to know what's going on. And I'm like, no, nobody has to see it. Are you fucking kidding me? And he goes, look, we're just trying to help. And he's like completely straight face, but Ransom and DJ are fucking cracking up. They're just like, yeah, we got to see it. And I'm like, guys, come on. And they're like, no, dude, because it could be anything. Like, you could have, it could just be a temporary thing, or you could have, like, a long-term deal. Like, the appearance really matters. And I trusted Craig because Craig was a crap dealer. So, obviously, he's got a lot of medical knowledge because he's a croupier. And anybody who's a croupier is going to be able to know anything at all about diseases. Now, Ransom, he was a poker dealer, and DJ, again, he was a DJ. I don't trust their medical knowledge so much. But Craig, let me tell you something. Again, if you're a croupier and you're handling dice all day, I got to, because again, he's a dick and balls man anyway, because when a croupier, he's got that big stick, and then he's handling 2 dice the whole time. So he's got a stick and 2 dice, and I got a problem with my stick and 2 dice. So that's the guy I go to. So I go, are you serious? And he goes, yeah, let's see it. And I go, all right. So I'm wearing shorts, like loose fitting shorts, because I am in such fucking pain. And I have but I wore underwear also because the shorts would have been evident that something was wrong. Does that make any sense? Because again, we get back to the name, the drip. So I just pull it out. I just go, all right, and I fucking yank it down. And I will tell you this, folks, enjoy this visual and this horrible pain that's going to shoot through you right now. When this is happening to you, and you're wearing a cotton brief, because at the time I didn't know about a boxer brief yet. I'm wearing like cotton, tighty whities, and gets a little sticky. And so imagine pulling a Band-Aid off your arm really fast. Now imagine if that Band-Aid was on your cock. So I go to pull my underwear down, like to show them, and it's just like that. It comes off because it's, again, there's discharge, and it's all sticky, and it's just like, and it comes out, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh man. And the funniest part is like imagine if you were, it's like a movie. I'm there, and I pull out my dick, and it's just like, ow! And those 3 guys just go, oh! Like they just imagine like 3 faces. You know what it was like? It was like the scene in Pulp Fiction when they're going to put the adrenaline needle into Uma Thurman's fucking chest, and it's Travolta's waiting to do it, and Eric Stoltz is just looking at him, and then they show Rosanna Arquette, and she's got this face like, I can't fucking wait to see what happens next. So those 3 guys had those faces. They were like, we can't wait to see, because it was like Christmas morning, but they were unwrapping like the horrible cock. So it was just terrible. And then the bonus of it was that it hurt me. So they were thrilled by that. But I was like, I yanked it, and it made this like noise to the point where there was even like like a little cotton or stuck on me, and it was like, and they looked at it and they just went, oh man! It was like the scene in Beetlejuice when they're behind Beetlejuice's head, and he goes, want to be scary? What do you think of this? And he goes, blah, and he makes his face crazy, and you just see those people like lose their minds. These 3 dudes lose their fucking minds. Because again, if you're a guy and then like you see that happening to somebody, because immediately you feel it in your balls. It's like if you see anybody get hit in the balls, you see anybody get, fall down. Whenever I see those skateboarders getting racked on the fucking walls, I can't watch it because all I think about is just Jesus Christ, their balls are crushed. So I whip it out. These guys are just like, dude, whoa, you got to go to a doctor like immediately. And Craig, I was very disappointed because Craig went from medical professional to screaming 11-year-old girl in the pull down of my underwear. And I'm like, dude, you're my go-to guy. You're my strength here. And he's like, you got to get that the fuck out of here. Seriously. And then then they freak out. They go, dude, did you touch anything in the shower? What did you use? What soap did you use? What did you do in that? And I go, yeah, I used soap. And they're just like, and they immediately, they go in and they just start like arm sweeping everything in the shower into a garbage can. And they're like, what towel did you use? And I go, this towel. And they throw the towel in. They just throw out everything that was in the shower. And they're like, did you use the toilet? And I'm like, no. And they're like, you sure? And it didn't matter. They still clean it. They like poured bleach in it. Like, I'm like, dudes. I mean, so now I'm starting to think maybe their medical knowledge not as extensive as I thought it was. As they boil the fucking bathroom and they're wearing hazmat suits. All of a sudden, it went from, ow, my dick hurts to the final scene of E.T. where the guys show up in the goddamn suit. Seriously, fellas. I need a little help here. So, I mean, I don't even have my dick put away before they've sterilized the goddamn house. So now they got to draw straws to figure out who's going to take me to the fucking doctor. I'm like, dudes, I need somebody to take me. We got to go. And then this debate happens. They're just like, all right, well, but we got to make sure that they know that we're not with you. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what, you're going to just like, drop me off and roll me out of the car at the fucking emergency room door? And then it dawns on me, they want to know that they're not gay. Like, they're not like my sex partner because they don't want to get roped into an examination. And I'm like, dudes, they're not going to think that you're gay just because you brought in your buddy with a sick dick. I mean, that's not going to happen. Is that what a doctor does? He immediately presumes that you're a couple and that something's wrong? So I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. You relax. So then it's decided that DJ and Ransom are going to take me because Craig has to work. And which means I lose my medical professional. He's out. He's got to go and handle dice all day and unfortunately live with the image of my cauliflower cock in his brain. So he's got to go ahead and take that to work. So these guys take me. And again, we're fucking, we're 4 20 to 25-year-old dudes who live in an apartment together. We have no money. I've got no insurance. We've got nothing. So we go to a free clinic. There's a free clinic in Tahoe that we have to go to. And the three of us walk in. And I mean, again, just the loneliest place on earth. Just this room of, the chairs, the plastic chairs you sit on in your school. It's just a room full of those. And a desk. So I walk up to the desk and there's a woman there. And I said, hey, I need to see somebody. And she's like, what seems to be the problem? And I'm like, well, I am having an issue in the groin region. Like, because I don't know what to say. And she's like, well, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. It's just, and then I turn around and Craig and Ransom are playing with a plastic dick that was like on the countertop. It has like, it's a plastic, hanging cock, and you can open it and look at the vas deferens and all that stuff. And they're cracking it open like an Oreo to see what's on the inside of it. And I'm like, you fucking idiots, will you fucking put that down, please? And I look back at her, and thankfully, and she's young and kind of cute. So then the last thing I want to, you know what? Can you just, all free clinics, can you hire fat old ladies to work the front, please? Because I would much rather deal with the steely eye of some woman who could be my mom than have to deal with like a hot chick who I might see in the bar later. You know what I mean? Because that's the last thing you're going to do is go, hey, can I buy you a drink? I don't think you can. Ointment? Take a fucking walk. So I'm talking to her, and she's like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, there's a problem down there. And she's like, well, what is it? And is there swelling? Is it? And I go, there's a redness, and it's like you can't touch it. And Greg goes, or Ransom goes, it's all fucked up. Because again, they are thrilled it's not them. So they're off to the side of me. Again, they're fucking with this plastic cock, and I'm trying to talk to this woman, and I just go, it's red, and it's swollen, and it's like you can't touch it. And he just goes, yeah, it's all fucked up.
So she, of course, laughs because that's funny. And I'm like, this is great. Ha ha. Aren't we having fun? So she's like, all right, well, you got to fill out this form. And at the time, I had to fill out the form, but I don't want to give, because you don't have to give an ID, so I don't want to give my real name. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do here, and so I filled it out because the thing is, I have to give my phone number if they're going to call me with results of some sort because I don't know. So I start filling it out, and I fill out everything but my name. And the guys are like, well, what name are you going to give? And I'm like, I don't know. What name should I give? And they're just like, well, just go with like something that's like your name, but not your name. So go with like Mike Smith. I'm like, what? Why? And they go, well, no, because if they call the house, we're going to have to know it's for you. And I'm like, well, why don't I just go with something like, I don't know, how about Greg Craig? How about that? Wouldn't that be great? And they're just like, dude, you can't do that. That's fucking terrible. They're going to call the house and don't use our fucking name and keep us out of it. And I'm like, all right. So I fill it out. I give my phone number and I give my address. And I turn in the form. And she's like, you didn't put down your name. I said, oh, okay. So I took the clipboard and I filled it out and I handed it back to her. She goes, Michael Jackson? I said, yeah, hi, I'm Michael Jackson. And she goes, seriously? And I go, because I needed to keep Michael for when they called the house. Like I needed, so I'm like, well, who else could I be? So I made it, the only name that came to mind was Michael Jackson. So she goes, all right, Mr. Jackson, have a seat. And I look over at Craig and Ransom, at Ransom and DJ, and they're just leaning back, and you can't see me do it, but then she goes, all right, Mr. Jackson, have a seat, they'll be with you in a second. And I look at them, and they just go, They just give me the thumbs up, like, yes, Michael Jackson, fantastic news. Because it was the first name that came to mind, because I had to be Michael still. So, all right. So I'm sitting there waiting to get called, and they call me into the room, and now I got to meet with some old guy with a buzz cut. This is weird. Like, he's not even a doctor. He calls me into a side office. And he goes, all right, we need to talk about some things. Now, what's going on down there? And I said, are you the doctor? And he goes, no, but I have to fill out a report for him so he knows what to look at. And I said, trust me, he's going to know what to look at. I mean, the second I pull it out, everybody within a 2-mile radius is going to go, oh, holy Christ. And in the meantime, I must tell you, folks, I am in pain. Like, I mean, because it's sticking to my underwear and I'm walking a lot of up, down. That's not good when this is happening. I mean, it's like, imagine like if you sucked on a hard candy and then you dropped it on your rug for an hour and then you went to pull it off. That's what I got going on. So I'm trying to shift and it's uncomfortable and it's like, I don't want to sit there. And he starts asking me every question in the world about, have you had sexual relations? And I said, yes. And he's like, who with? And I go, someone I met at the bar. Like, because I am not going to drag Molly into this. Although it's starting to dawn on me, she might have dragged me into this. So I said, someone I met at the bar. And he's like, and what kind of sex did you have? And, I wanted to say athletic, but but I didn't. I'm like, well, we had, sex. I mean, what are you looking for here? And he's like, well, I mean, did you have oral sex? And I said, yes, both ways, but nothing's wrong with my, because again, you're trying to fill the silence. So it's just this awkward thing where I'm talking to a guy who looks like a gym teacher with a fucking brush cut. And so he's like, well, what kind of sex? Did you have oral sex? And I go, yeah. And he goes, did you give or receive oral sex? And I said, both, but there's nothing wrong with my mouth. So, I mean, I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. And he's just like, well, all right, we need to know what to look at. And I said, why the secretive attack here? Just tell me what's going on. And he's like, did you have anal sex? And I said, yes. And he goes, giving or receiving? And I'm like, all right. I was giving, and he's like, are you straight? And I go, you probably should ask that before the other question. But so I have to go through this whole interview where he asks me what I've done and who I've been with and where I've gone and what I hope to do with my life from this point on, and what I like to thank the Academy, and it's just this crazy fucking interview. So finally he's like, all right, the doctor will call you when she's ready. So I walk outside and there's Ransom and Craig. So they're reading pamphlets of, like VD and you, so they're getting all that information. Apparently, living with someone with VD. So that's a pamphlet they want to familiarize for themselves with. And so I go and I sit down and I'm waiting to get called. And it dawns on me that when I left the room with fucking Joe Hike Buzzcut, he says, all right, have a seat. The doctor will call you when she's ready. And I didn't realize that there was going to be a lady involved. It was tough enough talking to the woman at the counter. Now I got to go see a lady doctor? And again, I'm not a guy who doesn't think ladies should be doctors. By all means, go ahead and be doctors. But at the same time, this is a little embarrassing for me. I mean, at this point, I've just recently started showing my penis to ladies. Okay, so the fact that now he's not at his best and he's going to have to come out into a room full of strangers is a little disappointing. Because you want to make a good showing for yourself. You always want to make sure that you're, you're at, maybe at half mast or you're in the neighborhood, and you want to look good. And he's ill. He's not feeling good these days. He's a little down in the mouth. And that's probably the problem. That's why I'm in the room. So I get called in to see the doctor, and she comes in. And it's a little lady doctor. Thank God, not young, like not crazy young. But she comes in and she's like, what seems to be the problem today? And I said, well, I'm having some discharge and problems and redness. I go, I figured I could just put like a cream on it or something, but my roommates were adamant that I should come and see you. And she's like, okay, your roommates told you to come and see me? And I'm like, well, I had to go to them because this is new for me. Like, I've never done this and I didn't know if they'd had anything to do with it. And she's like, okay, great. And she's like, well, drop your pants. And again, I've learned, so I'm not going to just I'm not going to pull it down. But I said, all right, this is an operation. This takes a minute because there's stuff in there, and it's my dick is essentially it's cocooned up like the people who were colonizing the planet in Aliens. They're all, when they discovered them underneath the heating towers, the cooling towers, and they were all cocooned up, and they were going to be hosts for the alien pods. My dick is essentially cocooned up to my underwear, so I've got to do everything I can to disassemble it. And so I reach in, and it's like a honeycomb. I've got to go ahead and get through it, and yeah, it's horrible. Enjoy that, folks. So I go ahead and I pull my cock out, and she looks at it, and she's like, "Oh, you've been busy, haven't you?" I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, so this is what happens when your dick is busy? Is that what you're saying? And I said, yeah, I go, have you seen this? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, I see it every day. She goes, that's pretty much your garden variety gonorrhea with, hold on, let me take a look. And she reaches down, she, grabs it. And it's really kind of tender to the touch. And she's wearing rubber gloves, which is not helping. And then she does she manipulates it, and she's looking all around, and she's I honestly, she should have put on she should pull out a magnifying glass. She's looking at my cock like she's looking for clues. Okay, I mean, I half expect her to just kind of lift it up and go, you know what? It was Colonel Mustard in the library with the rope. That's what happened to your dick. So she's analyzing it and looking, and then she's like, oh, hold on a second, and she's like, we've got to get a culture, so I got to know what's happening. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just give you my underwear if you want it. I mean, you can have that. That's going to have all the culture you need, quite frankly. And she's like, well, no, it's a little more complicated than that. Hold on. And again, she's got rubber gloves on, and that's not helping. And so she's holding it, and she takes a look and goes, hold on. And she turns around, and she comes back with a cotton swab, like a Q-tip. And I say to her, you know what? I go, if you're going to use that to get a culture, you got to be real careful because it's just, I mean, it's pretty tender. I mean, you see me flinching when you touch me, so just be careful there. And she's like, well, I'm not getting a culture from the outside. You need to hold on to something. And I'm like, what? And she goes, hold on. Hold on. So she grabs my joint, and she takes the swab, and she goes in through the outdoor, folks. That's what I'm going to tell you. She Zeppelins me. she just fucking she fooling the reins my cock like you wouldn't believe, and just goes swabby right up there, boom, all the way up my dick, like swabs right up. And I got to tell you, folks, it was blinding pain. Like it was not even. It wasn't like I didn't yell or yelp because I think I was so stunned that it was happening. It was this weird, like she just kind of like, like imagine cleaning the barrel of a gun with a brush. Okay. Well, then she's got my dick and this swab and just like, just go ahead and she's the key master and I was the fucking gatekeeper. and she went ahead and got a swab full of Gozer and got me the fuck out of there. And let me tell you, my Zool hurt for days. She wound up getting her culture and said she would run the test. And she's like, all right, I'll take a look at this, but I'm pretty sure you've got gonorrhea and with possibly a little side of chlamydia. Because God knows, why would I just have one? So she's telling me what I need to do and where I have to go. And I wanted to say, okay, things are great. I'll, top of the morning and I'm going to take off. But literally it was all I could do to just breathe, like to just stand there and just be like, like breathing to gather myself because, I mean, the outside was hurting. I mean, that, we had already established that there was a tenderness, there was a redness and a swelling and things were not good on the outside. But now it turned out that things on the inside were not feeling good at all. Because she just fucking super swabbed me and put a Swiffer up my dick, which was not good. So she gives me this cream that she happened to have, and then she's like, I'm going to prescribe some too. And then you also have to go get penicillin. So I fucking hoist them up and I walk out. And there's Ransom and Craig just sitting there. And the funniest part is Ransom and Craig are out there. And there's a girl now sitting in the waiting room and another guy. And they're not together. They're separate. But Craig and Ransom, when I walk out, they're pointing at the chick. They're just like they want me to talk to the chick. Like I can't, because again, she's got to be there for the same thing I'm there for. And I guess they figure that, two wrongs will make a right. So why don't I just zip over and go, hey, how you doing? Apparently you like to fuck. So what do you say we go ahead and get out of here? And I wish I could say I did it. And I wish I could say I was on board with it and thought it was great. But it was all I could do to tiptoe out the fucking door because I had just had a goddamn fireplace poker rammed up my cock. And so I go home and we go to get the prescription and I go get the cream and all that stuff and the penicillin and I start to apply it and I'm getting ready. And I was off work that night and however, I did have to work the next night. So I use the cream and I take the penicillin and things are much better the next day. I still have to go visit the laundromat, very quickly to get some things washed and cleaned and then I have to burn some things and throw some things away. But I also asked the guys not to say anything because again we all work and hang out together with the same people and so they're like, cool, no problem, we won't say anything. And so the next night I go into work and I walk in and the bartender just starts clapping. I'm like, okay, well then, thanks for keeping it to yourselves, fellas. And so they all night long. They start calling. All right, there's a comic. His name was Vic Dunlop, and Vic Dunlop was a comic who had, he had crazy eyes, and he was a prop comic. So all night long, they're calling me Vic Dunlop, because Vic's initials are VD. So all night long, I'm Vic Dunlop. Hey, Vic Dunlop, what's happening? To people I know, to the bartender, to people in the bar, everybody. Hey, Vic Dunlop. Thanks, fellas. So I'm Vic Dunlop the whole night, and but I get through the night, everything's fine, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I as much pain and stuff as I was in, you're still macking on girls at the bar, kinda, and then of course they're like, hey, Vic Dunlop, every time I'm talking to a chick, and I'm like, guys, so then that goes by, and then I work that night, everything seems to be fine, I'm recovering nicely. The weekend comes, and I have to work the same night Molly works. And I've been trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do here. Like, I don't know whether to tell her or not tell her, but I got to tell her because, I mean, obviously she fucking did this. I mean, this is her fault. I mean, I something in the water that she used in the blowjob something in the in the creams or lotions that were involved in that crazy evening. Somehow her sheets. I don't know. I'm trying to do in my brain. I'm trying to think of anything besides blaming her. Like I don't know how to have this talk. I really don't. Like I don't. Part of me just wants to hand her a photo of my reddened cock and just go, hey, just a little tip for you. That happened, and you might have been an accomplice. I might be booking you for the murder of my penis. Or at least for the assault and battery on my penis. And so she, at the end, I see her and I'm like, hey, hi. And again, nobody knows that I banged her. Like that was the thing is I kept it quiet. So, the guys just think it was some chick I met in the bar. I was able to kind of keep it away, because let's put it this way. They deduced that it was Molly, but I was not giving that up. I was absolutely not saying it. I think the sight of my horrible fucking cock drove they didn't care at that point who it was. They were just like, get this out of our house. They called Father Karras and my dick spit pea soup on everybody, and they were like, the power of Christ compels you, and it spun its head around and told them to suck cocks in hell. So I wind up at work and at the end of work, I kind of hang around and I wait for Molly to come out. And I go, hey, can I bother you for a second? And she's like, you know what, Mike, I'm sorry, I can't give you a ride. And I go, no, I don't need a ride. I'm going to go to the goalpost and get a ride from those guys. I have to tell you something. And this is going to be weird. And she's like, what? She goes, I knew that what we did the other night was a mistake, and I knew it was going to be weird. And I go, no, that was cool. I mean, that's not the weird part. This is the weird part. And she's like, yes, I know, because you've now asked me 2 times for a ride home, and I'm trying to tell you that was kind of a one-time thing. And I get that. Believe me, if anybody gets that was a one-time thing, it would be me. But I have to tell you something. I don't know how to say it. Just give me something. And I'm sure she's thinking that I'm going to say I love her. Like I'm this weird, because you know how guys are. They're so stupid and they fucking step on their dick the whole time they're trying to talk to a girl. They're like, look, I just really want to talk to you about something, man. I gotta tell you. And I don't know what to tell her. And like I said, part of me just wants to whip out my dick and go, hey, you see this cream? But finally I said to her, I go, look, I had to go to the doctor. Because after you and I had a great time the other night, there was a problem, and I needed to get something looked at. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, I had a great time with you, as I mentioned, but unfortunately I went to the doctor, and it turns out that something happened to my penis. And I don't know. Again, I'm trying to be gentle and nice. Like, I can't just go, hey, my cock's all fucked up. And I'm just like, so I'm trying to break the news to her in a nice way, but not blame her. You know what I mean? Even though, again, I fucking know it was her. There's nobody, I hadn't been laid in like 2 weeks except for her. And then 2 days later that happens? Of course it's her fault. And she goes, all right, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about here. And I go, listen, I'm just telling you so you know. Like, for you, like, maybe you want to go to a doctor too, because something might be wrong with you and your vagina. And she's like, what is wrong? Why? Who are you? I'm waiting for her to go, who the fuck are you, Mr. Rogers? Seriously, because this is, I don't know what this is, because I don't want to go, hey, hey, your fucking snatch is all screwed up and it threw some crazy disease on me. I don't want to be that guy. And again, I'm 21. I mean, I'm new to this. This is all new to me. Fucking is new to me, let alone telling somebody they've given me a disease. She goes, what the fuck are you talking about, Mike? And I go, all right, look, I have VD. Like, I've got gonorrhea, and I think that I got it at your house. Which, again, I don't want to blame her. I know I got it in her house. I just don't know how. Perhaps the soap I used in the morning, perhaps, in the bath. Maybe clean your bathtub. That's what I'm saying. Clean your bathtub, because apparently the scrubbing bubbles all attach themselves to my balls. So she looks at me and she goes, you know what, Mike, don't fucking bother me with this. And I go, because again, I think she knew, you know what I mean? And so she's fucking furious. And I go, look, I'm just telling you, I have to take penicillin, and I got like a cream, and there was a ripping involved, and she just slaps me in the face. Just fucking hits me right in the face. And I look and I just go, all right, well, I guess we're done. She's walking away now. And I go, I guess we're done talking about this. But, you might want to go to the doctor. And she just fucking gets in her car and splits. And I limp over to the goalpost. And Vic Dunlop played foosball all night long while eating fucking mozzarella sticks. And that's my Black History Month story. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can write me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. And there's your Black History Month clip. So proud of that. So proud of that moment. It was a proud moment for our country as a whole. Certainly a proud moment for African Americans everywhere. And how'd you like that MySpace plug at the end? Here's the thing. Do not write me on MySpace. Actually, you might want to because it's funny, but I will never see it in a billion years. Because I haven't been. My page still exists because all of our pages still exist, right? It's like you ever see those pictures of the amusement parks in Chernobyl?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or those some guy snuck his way in there in a hazmat suit and took a bunch of photos of the houses in Chernobyl after the nuclear fallout. Or I'm sure in Fukushima after the fucking tsunami, they got the same deal. That's what MySpace is of the internet. It was hit by a nuclear meltdown and a tsunami at the same time. It's the Fukushima of the internet. My Fukushima space. So yeah, I used to plug MySpace on here, folks. That's how long I've been doing this fucking show. So, and if you buy year one, you'll hear all my MySpace plugs. You'll actually, you know what? Buy year one and listen from the beginning, and you'll hear me ridicule Facebook and MySpace, and then in year two, I think I make fun of Twitter for a very long time, and now that's all I do is plug those fucking things here at the end of the show. Because again, folks, I don't know if I told you this. I think that's where it's going. I think we're all going to be very close and in touch with one another and getting to know. No, shut up. What's going to happen is we're going to be very close and you're going to reach out and ask me for free things and I'm going to mock you on the air. Unless you have a boat. In which case I will show up and we will get on that boat. And we will cover each other in activator and tan. Actually, activator is not good for tanning. Forget I said that. That's the SPF is way too high on activator for tanning. You know what? We will cover each other in Asian baby mouth sauce and tan. That's what we will do. Because that is fantastic for tanning. Oh my God, a crisp golden brown all around. You look like a Peking duck at the end of it. Holy shit. You get all crispy and gorgeous. Man, you look perfect with Asian baby mouth sauce. And I know you're thinking to yourself, Mike, we're just on my boat. Where are we going to find Asian baby mouth sauce? Look, if you're rich enough to have a fucking boat, I'm sure you've got Asian baby mouth sauce on tap right there. You just have some kid in a keg with a fucking hose in his mouth and show him a picture of fudge. Or actually better, you know what it is? You just have a chair. That's what you do. That's how you get Asian baby mouth sauce. You just have a chair from Kelly's Fudge and you just plop an Asian baby on the top of it and he bites it and you just put a cup underneath to catch the runoff. It's like milking a cobra. Look, I'm sure when you woke up this morning, you're like, I got to know how to milk an Asian baby. Done. You just put that Asian baby in that wicker basket and you play your flute until it floats up in the fucking air and bites your Kelly's Fudge chair. Boom! This show is knowledgeable and informative, God damn it! I'll bet you didn't know that Black History Month was also Asian Baby History Month. You guys can get me at Mike and MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp, the producer, at Twitter.com/MNTs or Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. If you want to be her Facebook friend, go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to write her a personal note and find out just how long her eyes have been watering and how badly her throat is tickling during this entire show, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Hey, all you fans of the 40-year-old boy. Mike's got new stuff to sell you. Stuff he hopes you'll enjoy. Just what's for sale, of course we do not know. All we can tell you is where you should go. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40 40-year-old boy, ZAZZLE.com. Is your business you? What kind of stuff's for sale? We already told you we don't know. 'Cause Mike made us record the song way back in February, so we can only speculate just what Mike will try to sell you. Maybe his face on a tambourine, or his own line of gardening equipment. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, ZAZZLE.com. Maybe his own line of high chairs. ZAZZLE.com. His face on your personal massager.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine here in Hollywood, California. 10 o'clock p.m. is the show time for that show. I know the producer of that show. Her name is Lily Von Stupp. She's a good friend of mine. Hey, Lily.
Hi, Michael.
Oh, they can actually hear how stuffed up your sinuses are, I think. So last week's show, which was a good one.
Yes.
I don't know, because, again, we're recording this on Saturday.
Fabulous show.
Oh, it was the best. It was the greatest show of all time.
There were accordions and banjos and boobs. It was amazing.
Did the celebrity that you mentioned show up?
You know, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Well, even after the fact?
Even after the fact, we don't do that. I mean, I almost never even told people that Quentin hired us to do the private show for him, because we're not celebrity fuckers.
I tried to keep that quiet, too.
Yeah.
Sure, I did an entire episode on it. Okay, well, but there was a big name type of celebrity coming to your show this week, from what we heard.
And he may or may not have been there.
He may have, he may not have.
I am no TMZ. I am no
W. There should be a third W.
What? Tyler Durden. I am no WWTDD.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad
I'm
we...
no TMZ. I'm no OPB.
You know me. You're no OPUFC, which is still going on. I think Dana White's cock size is on the internet now, for Christ's sake. Actually, he was in a dick measuring contest with them and he lost. So, all right, so that's the Monday Night Tea. So who's coming up next week's show? Is it a theme show by any chance?
It's Red Snapper's birthday, and we're doing That 70s Ho.
That 70s Ho.
It's a disco burlesque extravaganza.
Sounds fun. Will you be performing?
No,
Will
she
you
didn't
be-
ask me to be in the show.
What? She's just using your building for her birthday purposes?
I was like, wait a minute, you're at a
Snapper.
birthday party and you didn't ask me to be in it?
She's the same girl who stopped doing my taxes, Snapper. She's
I
just...
don't have a disco number.
Okay.
No, so I wouldn't have been in it anyway.
All right.
But
We
I
can-
will be wearing a nice metal Whiting and Davis top that shows your nips. It's beautiful.
Okay.
If you don't know what Whiting and Davis is, look it up. It's like mesh metal. It's hot.
By the way, with all the talk of Asian babies today, I'd like to ask you to not have that offensive language. It's ugly, and it just portrays you in a bad light. Please don't do something like that.
Not the first time.
All right, so that's Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the Santa Monica and Vine address of the 3 clubs.
Yes.
10 o'clock p.m. Go ahead and check out that show. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and there's plenty of things there for you to see. First of all, the 40-year-old boy page, the streaming is fixed.
Woohoo!
New web guy, Farmer Ryan, has stepped up to the plate and fixed the streaming. That's right. I'm going to give his name. I feel comfortable giving his name because I mailed him a check. And I think he might have cashed it. If he's cashed that check, as far as I'm concerned, I can say his name on the air. So, Farmer Ryan, thank you for fixing the streaming and fixing my email list and hatching your ringtone plan. We're still working on the blogs, but it's good to know that I have Farmer Ryan in my corner. And literally, I called him up the other day and I said, hey, I have some things for you to do on the website. And he said, the chores. Dun, 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 dun. He did not say that, but why not? Why not? Anytime I can plug in a reference from 1968, I will do that for you folks. The streaming is working at the 40-year-old boy page. Please remember you can go to the Joe Business page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and there you will have a link to Zazzle.com for mugs and mouse pads. You will have a link to TweakedAudio.com/40, where you can get autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches. And there's also a link to purchase the download sets, folks. There, year 1, year 2, and year 3 are available. I may have mentioned that earlier in the show, that if you folks are new to this show and you'd like to hear some of the stuff from the past, other than the clip you heard today, you can go ahead and purchase the years of the show. Year 1, year 2, and year 3 are available individually for $25, or you can get them all together in the Lord of the Schmidt set for, and we'll give you a price break on that if you buy all 3 of them together. That's the Return of the Schmidt, the Lord of the Schmidt, the Fellowship of the Schmitty, and the 2 Schmitties. That's 4, actually. I just gave 4 titles. I don't know what the hell it is. So there, go ahead and buy all of the download sets together. That'd be great. Great for you, great for me. It's great for everybody. It's great for all of us. That's a lot of greatness. Folks, you can go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be my friend there. And also, while you're there are plenty of pages that you can sign up to bring me to your town. People who want to bring me on tour. They want to bring me to Toronto, which exists. And also, well, Toronto exists, but the page exists. God damn it, folks. Again, 3 hours of sleep. And I need to get out of here now because it's past 8, and I got to go home and watch the UFC. I got to call and get artwork. I have a full plate. Folks, you don't care. I have to go back to the garage and get more Asian baby mouth sauce on my hand. You know, when you think about it, why? Because they were all talking. There's like a whole group of them there, and he's just sucking away on a chair. And it's like, dude, first of all, don't you notice and don't you stop him? I mean, you're in a public place, and he's got his mouth on the back of a chair. We've already established there could be Activator all over that chair. That Asian baby mouth sauce could be covered in Soul Glow at this point. It could just be a diluted mix. Oh, awful. Why must there be Jerry curl guys? Why? It could be anybody who leans their head back there. All right. Oh, he's got a mouthful of lice. That kid could have a mouthful of lice.
Oh.
And normally, those people enjoy that for dinner, but not when they're sitting in a chair. That's as bad as what you said earlier. All right, folks, I apologize. God damn it. That made me laugh. I won't lie to you. That made me laugh. In my head, I went mouthful of lice. Aha. Damn it. Aha. So, all right, so. Go to facebook.com. There's all these pages that want to bring me to their towns, New York, or not New York, New Orleans, Detroit, all those places. And I do have some shows scheduled that I'll tell you about right now coming up in February 17th. Remember that I am at the Darkroom Theater in San Francisco, California. Tickets are going to that pretty quick. So I will tell you that if you're going to get tickets to that, please do so. The show's coming up very soon, 2 weeks from now. But tickets are going fast, so go and get tickets at brownpapertickets.com for all of these shows. But specifically, if you'd like to go to San Francisco, February 17th, that's Friday night at the Darkroom Theater in San Francisco. That's in the Mission District, I've been told. So go ahead and sign up. Don't sign up. Go buy tickets to that. That would be great at brownpapertickets.com for the Success Is Not an Option tour rolling into San Francisco February 17th. That's a Friday night. And then continuing on to Atlanta, Georgia at the Fabrifaction Theater, March 2nd. That's Friday night as well. Tickets available at brownpapertickets.com. Atlanta tickets also moving right now, but obviously we'd like to sell more, so go ahead and jump on the Atlanta tickets. That'd be cool. And after that, Washington, D.C. in March 23rd, also a Friday night. I'll be there. The Success Is Not an Option tour with me, Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Art Center, March 23rd at 8 o'clock. I'm trying to find interesting ways to plug these and say these things over and over. Nobody wants to hear these plugs, but it's okay. I continue to do them. That's what it's about. Folks, I do this entire show just to get to this part. What if I did the plugs up top? Do you think people would tune out? Would that be a thing? What if I did this part in the beginning? Like French. I was like a French guy and I gave you dessert early. Maybe we'll try that sometime. Maybe it'll be a flipperoo. Maybe we'll go Koyaanisqatsi. We'll go all backwards on you guys. All right. Koyaanisqatsi. What? All right. Yeah, make a face like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
That's actually the noise the Asian baby made when he saw me put my hand in the puddle. He was trying to say something else, but he had his mouth firmly clamped on a Kelly's Fudge back. So, like I said, Washington, D.C., March 23rd at the D.C. Art Center. And also after that, folks, April 27th, that's a ways away. But still, tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com for Mike Schmidt in Cleveland, Ohio, at Big Dog Theater in Cleveland. Go ahead and pick up tickets to that. That would be fantastic. And remember, Kickstarter people who've donated, some of you have a set list coming. The 4 of you who have set lists coming, you know who you are, and you also know that I will be eating it with you at some point in town. They get a meal. And I will be setting up the Kickstarter thing this week. I will be writing to people to find out I need your phone numbers so I can call you on your birthdays and your anniversaries. We need to find out your addresses so I can send you your cassette tapes or, not cassette tapes, CDs. What if I sent you cassette tapes? What if I just did that? Regardless, I have to contact the Kickstarter people this week, but that is on the horizon. That is happening. So I will contact the Kickstarter people this week with emails, and we will all get together and coordinate, and I'm going to get you rewards as soon as I possibly can. And what's funny is I actually got a text from Seth, New York Seth and Brandy. And Seth wrote me a text, and he's like, hey, I just wanted to know if there's a way that I could possibly come to the Cleveland show. And I wrote him, I go, dude, you were the top donator on Kickstarter. You get all the shit. I mean, whatever, you get the bad CD, you get a phone call, you get all of the stuff that's coming. I will be sending it to you. That's fine. And then he wrote me, and he's like, I wanted to know, I don't know if anybody's done this already, but I wanted to try to claim you for Atlanta. To have dinner with you in Atlanta. That would be great if we could do it if I'm coming to the show. And let's not push it, Seth. All right. You're coming to the show, and that's fine. And I'm you got tickets, and it's fantastic. And we spent all that time in New York. Do you really want to have another meal with me, Seth? Is that? Think about it, friend. I mean, it's funny. I've been claimed in all of those cities, and it's funny. There are other people who are trying to get me to go with them, but unfortunately I can't because there are people who actually paid for the privilege of seeing me in those 4 cities. Our friend Ed, our friend Francis, another friend, I think, Andrew's got me in Boston. And so I got to figure out all the logistics of that. But Seth, really, dude, how could you possibly even think about having another meal with me? And let me ask you this. Did you clear this with Brandy, by the way? Because I guarantee you there's no fucking way Brandy wants to ever see me again. She sent me a nice text to go, hey, I heard your show. That was great. And like the finality of it was palpable. You could just see that she's like, that was really good. I really enjoyed seeing you for the one time I'm ever going to see you in my entire life. And I hope I never run into you again. Oh, I don't mean to write it like that. I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody rigged for the steak? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake Rape, do it! Do it! Do it! Do it!